because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you've got to love it, you've got to have passion.
I did my MBA at night, and I worked during the day. I was a doorman at a 5-star hotel in San Francisco. Made more money on that job than any job I ever had. I used to park his car. He's a good tipper. It is a lot of hard, I'm quoting, it is a lot of hard work and a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you gotta love it. You gotta have passion. Somebody help me. What is he saying?
Love what you do.
Huh?
Love what you do.
Why?
Do what you love.
Love what you do what you love. Any other comments?
Play it again.
Asil, you took my leadership course, man. Say something.
You better say something.
Well, basically, I've got to agree with the graduate students who must have some kind of experience by now. You know, I've got to say that you have to do what you love best in order for you to succeed in life.
Yes, yes, yes. Very true. What makes an effective executive? Well, I guess they ask what needs to be done. A lot of people forget to do that. I know I've done it occasionally. What's good for the enterprise? Not what's good for the manager, not what's good for the employees. Make an action plan. Take responsibility for your decisions. Announce decisions. And focus on opportunities. You're probably better off focusing on opportunities than focusing on problems. But life is not so linear. I'll tell you a funny story. I'm in Japan, I'm at NEC. And Mr. Hiroshi Oka, Senior Vice President of NEC, I'm talking to him. I had a language school in Japan, and we served the corporate English education market. And Mr. Oka said, you know, thank you very much for increasing Mr. Ishii's TOEIC score. TOEIC is sort of like TOEFL, IELTS. And the Japanese are very, you know, everything's a test, too much so. And I said, well, you know, Mr. Oka, the TOEIC test isn't the only measure. There are other measures that are just as important and maybe even more reliable. And Oka-san, he looked at me, and he says, you know, in Japan and at NEC, the TOEIC test is everything. And if you want to do business with us, you have to understand that. Well, I got to say something, right? Sort of shooting from the hip. I looked at him. I said, well, you know, Mr. Oka, if you want me to, I could develop a TOEIC course for you and your division. This course would have 2-hour classes. There would be 2 classes a week, and the course would last 3 months. He says, thank you. He walks out of the room, and I'm shaking. I'm like, what did I say? Are you crazy? So Japanese remember everything, right? So I 2-hour class, 2 classes a week, 3 months, right? Comes back to me the next week with a proposal. I spend the entire weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, designing the course. By Saturday afternoon, it wasn't going to work. The only way it was going to work was to just double the homework. Okay, I did that. By Saturday evening, it still wasn't going to work. The only way it was going to work was double the homework. Okay, fine. They're Japanese. They'll do it. And that's what happened. Sometimes in management, you got to ad lib. You make inductive decisions just based upon feelings and your experience, and you just hope it works out. Next theme, teams. No one can really succeed in isolation. We got to work in teams. And there are basically 2 kinds of teams. There are good teams and there are bad teams. Let's talk about the bad teams. Call them dysfunctional teams. They don't seem to have purpose. They're single disciplinary. Frequently they're understaffed or they're overstaffed. And they have negative synergies. 1 + 1 + 1 equals something less than 3. And those of you who've worked in teams, I think you know that. You have cross-functional teams where you have harmony and balance. They're multidisciplinary, meaning they take a multidisciplinary approach to problem identification, problem solving, and problem implementation. There's a common purpose among the team members, there's a common goal, and there's complete synergy. 1 + 1 + 1 equals something greater than 3.
One of the Apple's an incredibly collaborative company. And so, you know how many committees we have at Apple?
No.
0. We have no committees.
No committee.
We are organized like a startup. One person's in charge of iPhone OS software. One person's in charge of Mac hardware. One person's in charge of iPhone hardware engineering. Another person's in charge of worldwide marketing. Another person's in charge of operations. We're organized like a startup. We're the biggest startup on the planet. And we all meet for 3 hours once a week, and we talk about everything we're doing, the whole business. And there's tremendous teamwork at the top of the company, which filters down to tremendous teamwork throughout the company. And teamwork is dependent on trusting the other folks to come through with their part without watching them all the time, but trusting that they're going to come through with their parts. And that's what we do really well. And we're great at figuring out how to divide things up with these great teams that we have and all work on the same thing, touch bases frequently, and bring it all together into a product. We do that really well. And so what I do all day is meet with teams of people and work on ideas and solve problems, to make new products, to make new marketing programs, whatever it is.
And are people willing to tell you you're wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, other than snarky journalists. I mean, people that
Oh,
work.
yeah. No, we have wonderful arguments.
And do you win them all?
Oh, no, I wish I did. But you can't. If you want to hire great people and have them stay working for you, you have to let them make a lot of decisions, and you have to be run by ideas, not hierarchy. The best ideas have to win.
So,
otherwise, good people don't stay.
but you must be more than a facilitator who runs meetings. You obviously contribute your own ideas.
I contribute ideas, sure. Why would I be here?
What's going on here? Let me read a couple of lines and get some feedback from you. There is tremendous teamwork at the top of the company, which filters down to tremendous teamwork throughout the company. Somebody help me out. What does that mean? Yes.
Lead by example.
Okay.
Common word is teamwork.
Teamwork.
Win-win. Both good win.
Win-win. You beat me to the punch, man. You just give me 2 more slides. Another quote. Teamwork is dependent on trusting the other folks to come through with their part without watching them all the time, but trusting that they are going to come through with their parts. What's the key word here? Trust. Yes, trust. If you get a chance, go on YouTube and watch his Stanford commencement speech, 2005. Do that. We are great at figuring out how to divide things up into these great teams that we have and all work on the same thing and touch bases frequently and bring it all together into a product. A lot of times when you're working with complex systems where things are mission critical, I do this a lot with software. How you perceive or frame the problem. And I'm not an engineer, so getting into some territory here that I don't know about. But sometimes you got to cut the problem up. How you cut the problem up, how you perceive it from a technological user interface viewpoint, and how you form the team to take advantage of the multidisciplinary assets that you have in your company, and identifying, solving, and implementing a problem. Is interesting. Do you win all your arguments? Oh no, I wish I did. You can't. If you want to hire great people and have them stay working with you, you have to let them make a lot of decisions. And you have to be run by ideas, not hierarchy. The best ideas have to win. Otherwise, good people don't stay. Somebody, help me out. What's he saying? Yes?
He's saying that he's not like the only one who makes decisions. It's like they like to, have a meeting with them and have many ideas, and they decide what's the best sort of idea for that project or something.
Yes, yes, yes. This is very, very, very true in the high-tech industries. You're an engineer, you got a degree from Stanford, you got a long resume. Companies have to work very hard to recruit you and to keep you, okay? You're dealing with knowledge